Welcome back, guys, to the Andrew Dillich podcast. Another episode, another solo episode, another reality check. It's been a long time I didn't do a reality check. I didn't do a solo episode. And I just want to start off with just do it. The quote, the Nike quote that's so popular and it was so known around the world. And there's many reasons why. Now, I'll dissect it with many different topics and then we'll get into it. In every friend group, there is a leader. Now, of course, it's not like in movies, on TV shows where there's like 5 friends and there's one who like bullies everyone. He's like the fucking alpha male and he's like the leader. That's not the case, although it can sometimes be. But every friend group in general, it's like unwritten. It's like an unwritten rule that there's always a guy who leads more, who's maybe more prone to being a leader or whatever. And from what I saw from experience, in general, the person who leads in every friend group or in just every environment is always the one who has the most balls, with the most balls. It's not the most intelligent one. It's not the smartest one. It's not the most educated one. It's not the best looking one. It's not the whatever. In general, it's always the one who is the bravest. Amongst friends, when there's like 5, 6 friends in a friend group, the guy who, let's say, is the guy who has the most balls, the most courageous, who approaches the most girls, who has the most ideas. Oh, let's do this, let's do that, let's go there, let's talk to him, let's talk to her, whatever. In general, he's more tempted to be the leader. So that's what it takes, not just to be the leader in a friend group, but just in general. To be a leader, you need to have balls, you need to be courageous. And then on top of that, of course, if you're plus competent, intelligent, kind, caregiver, and all of these other good qualities that a leader could have, then of course you are a top G leader, right? But the most important aspect is because you can be the smartest one, the most intellectual one, the most educated one, the most competent one, the most funny one, the best looking one, whatever. But if you don't have the confidence, if you don't believe in yourself, if you don't have the balls to go out there and showcase the world that you are who you are, it'll never happen. So that's why confidence is so important. That's why we see so many people who have zero talents. Well, zero, I mean, of course, at the end of the day, everyone has talents to a certain degree, but who's maybe not as competent as someone else, not as intelligent, not as educated, but he has confidence, he has balls, and he goes after what he wants. Now, I'm not talking about only about being the leader in a friend group. Now I'm talking about other stuff. So being confident, having balls, being courageous, and going after what you want is so important. And now, of course, like I do so many times, examples, right? Let's say if you have a guy who has zero talent, zero competency, but his confidence levels are through the roof. He believes in himself. He feels like he's the fucking man. He can do whatever he wants. Any problem, he has a fucking solution to it. He's going to accomplish way more than the person who has the IQ way above average, who's really competent, really smart, really educated, all of the above. If he doesn't have confidence, it's not worth it. Confidence is like the door. Once you open the door, that's when you get to meet the person with all his intelligence, competence, whatever. But you need that door. You need that door. I don't know if that's like the best example. It's like maybe, let's say in a car, right? So you have the car, but you need like the wheels, right? To keep going where you want to go, to bring your car and to bring you somewhere, you need the wheels, right? Let's say, I guess that's a bit of a better fucking example. Those wheels are confidence. You need confidence to bring you to somewhere. Like I said, if you have between those two people, the person who has confidence will achieve way more than the person who has no confidence, even though that person is way more talented and way more skilled than the person with zero talent, but with 100% confidence. Now, of course, if again, you have two people and one is highly competent, highly educated, highly skilled, highly intelligent, highly everything, and plus on top of that, he has confidence, then of course, he's going to ram over the person who has no competence, no skills, no talents, no education, no whatever, but has a lot of confidence. Now, of course, person A will destroy person B. So that's why, in general, to become the best version, to become the best person you can become, you want to score across the board all A's in general, right? So you want to be educated, smart, well-groomed, in shape, smart, competent, and then plus you want to be confident. Also, confidence, I feel like confidence, some people are born with more confidence than others, But the thing that is fun with confidence is everyone can work on their confidence. Everyone and literally anyone can work on their confidence. If you don't have confidence regarding something, the only reason why you're not confident in that certain field or domain is because you don't have enough information to feel comfortable in that situation for that domain or that field. So that's why the more you do it, the more information your brain, your subconscious receives regarding doing that action. And the more information you get, the more repetitions you do, the more competent you become in that field, in that domain. And that translates to confidence because you've done it so many times. You've had many successes. Of course, you had many L's. You failed many times. But with failure, we grow, we become better, we succeed more. And by succeeding more and by having more success in a certain domain, well, then that translates to having more competency in that domain. And then that translates naturally to having more confidence in doing what you want to do. So that's something that's really fun with, let's say if you're someone and you feel like you never really had confidence, you feel like you lack confidence, and you feel like you would love to have even more confidence in your life, maybe not just professional life, maybe with girls, relationships, with your friends, at work, with your bosses, with your clients, whatever it may be, the best way to work on your confidence is by going out there and doing what you feel like you have no confidence at doing, right? So you put yourself out there, you try, you do repetition after repetition after repetition. You inquire more information regarding that action. And by you acquiring more information, well, you become more competent. And by you becoming more competent, well, you, like I said, become more confident. That's one thing that's really fun with confidence is it's not like someone's born tall and the other person is born short and there's nothing he or she can do about it. This is different. This is literally something that everyone and anyone can work at, and that literally everyone should work on. Even if you feel like you have a lot of confidence, believe me, there are certain domains or certain fields where you're maybe not as confident because you feel like you're not as competent in those fields and those domains, and you don't have enough, let's say, information regarding that field or that domain. Let's say, for example, Lionel Messi, right? Of course, on the field, on the football pitch, he's going to be one of the most, if not the most confident human being on planet Earth on a football pitch. Why? Because even though he doesn't talk about it, deep down, he knows, yo, I'm the best fucking player. So whenever he enters a pitch, he knows, yo, on this pitch with 22 players for 90 minutes, I'm by far the best player. And why? It's because he's played so many games, and throughout so many games, he's proved game after game that he is who he fucking is, the best player on planet Earth. That's why, with all that information, when he goes on the pitch, he's confident that he knows that he's the best player because he played so many fucking games, game after game, repetition after repetition, and he inquired more information in his subconscious mind, in his brain, his nerves, and now they understand that he is competent in that domain, so he will be highly confident in that domain. But let's say something else, right? Let's say I also take Messi, the same person who is actually the most competent person to ever play football, European football. If I was to take him and put him on a late night talk show, and where he has to debate his opinions, even if it's regarding football, something that he's really, really smart and probably has the biggest footballing IQ ever, but it's a different domain, it's a different field. So that's why if I was to take him and put him in a panel with other journalists who maybe don't know football as well as he does, but they're more comfortable and confident about speaking on camera, defending their point of view. They know how to talk better. They know when to stop, when to interrupt, when not to interrupt, when to let the other person speak, when to say his opinion, how to say his opinion, how to articulate, and everything else. And of course, Messi, who didn't do it as many times as, let's say, Jamie Carragher, who is also an ex-football player, but now he's a journalist. And if I might add, he's a phenomenal journalist when it comes to footballing, Jamie Carragher. So, of course, Jamie Carragher is going to be better in that field and that domain than Lionel Messi. Even though Lionel Messi, believe me, he has a way higher footballing IQ than Jamie Carragher. Jamie Carragher played professional. One of a legendary center back for the game, right? Let's not fucking lie. It's a fact. But not even close to what or who Messi fucking was, right? But he has more confidence on camera. He has more competency on camera. So that's why he would be more confident than Messi on a TV channel debating about football, analyzing football, and commentating on football, which is what he does right now, and which is something that Messi didn't do. Now, maybe if Messi was to do it episode after episode, episode after episode, week after week, week after week, maybe he won't become better than Jamie Carragher at that domain because there's also talent that comes into play. Some people are just more talented in front of a camera. Some people have brighter and bigger personalities than other people. Some people are more charismatic on camera than other people. Some people are more reserved, more shy, more introverted. Other people are more extroverted, more charismatic, whatever. So, of course, there's also talent that comes into play. But if let's say Messi was to become a talk show analyst, football analyst, if you were to look at his first episode and then look at his 100th episode, there would be a huge difference. But he's the same person. The only thing that would change is he would have more information on that domain. His subconscious mind will, in a way, rewire his nerves and his brain regarding that field and that domain. And he will, by default, by consequence, become better in that field. So that's why it's important to do repetition after repetition after repetition. Even if you're highly talented at something, you have to do repetition. Like I said, again, Lionel Messi, he's probably the most talented individual when it comes to his domain. One of the most talented individuals of all time in his domain. And I'm talking about Isaac Newton, whoever else for his domain. Messi is one of those fucking geniuses. He is a genius of football. We've never seen a genius of football as big as Lionel Messi. And still, he did repetition after repetition, went to practice every single day. Every single day he played football. Every single day he hit the gym. Every single day he went to run. Every single day it was repetition after repetition, game after game, practice after practice, which then on top of that, you add his fucking crazy skill set, his crazy naturally God-gifted talent. Well, then you have a peak fucking football player. Same goes for everything else. You can't have talent, which is something that's really good. Some people are more talented at something else than other people. We're all different. We're all wired differently. We all have skills that maybe other people don't have. We're all different. But even if you're really talented at something, you still have to put in a lot of fucking work, a lot of effort, because first of all, there's a lot of competition out there. You're not the only person who wants to be, let's say, a football player. There's a lot of people out there who play football and who want to be a football player. There's a lot of people out there who want to be actors. There's a lot of people out there who want to be successful businessmen. There's a lot of people out there who want to be podcasters. There's a lot of people out there who want to be singers. There's a lot of people out there who want to fucking have a car company or whatever it may be. A lot of people out there are seeking what most human beings are seeking in a capitalist country, which is money, status, and all of the above. That's what most people who are ambitious are seeking in a capitalist country, who are career driven. So of course, when you have a lot of people chasing it, and then let's say not everyone is maybe as talented as someone else. Some people are more talented, but then there's also effort and work ethic that comes into play. Who's ready to work harder? Who's ready to sacrifice more? And then, of course, who's also more talented when it comes to that certain field and domain. And that will then show you, or at least translate, or be the consequence of your results and of your success. So there's a lot of things. But it all starts with, like I said in the beginning of this episode, confidence. And even if you don't have confidence, even if you're afraid to do something that you're truly afraid to do, being afraid of doing it isn't a problem. It's not doing it that is the problem. Even if you're afraid of something and you still do it, then you've won. You've won because you did it. At the end of the day, what matters are your actions. You're afraid to approach a girl. Afraid or not afraid, the person who approaches her has the chances of getting her. It's as simple as that. If there's a guy who isn't afraid to approach her, but he doesn't approach her, and there's a guy who is afraid to approach her, but he still approaches her, he has more chances of getting that girl. Now, like Luca would say, why are you always talking about women and sex, whatever? Now, let me give you another example. You want to start a business, right? You want to acquire funds in order to kickstart your business, and you need financial support. If there's one person, let's say there's two people, right? Both of them have the same idea for the same business, and they need the same financial support from investors, right? Person A is afraid to approach investors. Person B isn't afraid to approach investors. He or she is highly extroverted, confident, not afraid of anything, not afraid to approach people, and very easily talkative with other people. Person B, who isn't afraid, he or she never approaches investors. He or she will then never receive money. It's as simple as that. Being afraid or not afraid is not what matters. What matters is actually doing it. Person A is afraid. They're sweating. Their heartbeat is fucking racing. Their pulse is going crazy. They're sweating. They're hot. But they still approach those investors. He or she will potentially have the chance to receive or to acquire the financial needs that he or she needs in order to build his enterprise, his business, or to finance his business. So that's why the only thing that matters truly is actually doing it. That's why, like I said at the beginning of the episode, the quote, just do it, as simple as it seems, as simple as it actually is, it's so fucking powerful. And that is the reason why. Because just do it. Oh, but I'm afraid. The weather outside isn't nice. My shirt isn't nice. I don't know what to do. Just do it. Oh, but that person wasn't happy the last time I approached him. He or she told me to fuck off. I approached 3 people. Now I'm not sure if I should approach the 4th person. Just do it. It's as simple as that. And I know that it sounds really simple. Just do it. And it actually is. But it being simple doesn't mean that it's easy to do. Just because something is simple doesn't necessarily mean that it's easy. Both of those have no correlation. Something can be very simple, but it can also be really, really fucking hard to do. Like going to the gym consistently, day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, and decade after decade. It's really fucking simple going to the gym. It's not complicated. If you've ever hit the gym, it's really not fucking complicated. You go to the gym, you get inside the gym, you move weights around, you move your body around, you do calisthenics, you lift weights, you run, you do hit workouts, whatever you want to do, you do CrossFit, you move your body around. It's really fucking simple. Everyone who has a able body can do it. But why do most people not do it? It's because it's hard to go day in, day after day, week after week, even when you don't feel like it. Even when you're tired from work, stressed from your family, from your kids, from your wife, from whatever, it's hard to do, but it's really fucking simple. Becoming a professional soccer player, it's really fucking simple, but it's really, really fucking hard. It's simple. Start playing soccer when you're young. In general, people who make it professional in general, they start playing at the age of 5 or 6 from a football standpoint. You start at the age of 5 or 6. You play as much as you can. And then every single time you try to level up. So you go play with people who are better than you at a higher division than you. And then by you playing with them, you realize where you stand. And by you saying, okay, shit, these players are better than me. Now let me train harder so that I become as good as them or even better. And by you becoming better, well, then you move up a level, you move up a division, and then you're in another division, then you become better, you move another division, you become better, another, and then, hey, you've become professional. But it's not easy. It's really fucking hard. I can speak from personal experience. I've wanted to be a professional soccer player. I've actually been amongst my friends who none of us made pro. We've all played amateur. I was actually really fucking good, but I never made pro because in order for me to become pro, I needed to put in even more work, which I didn't do. I had to go to even more tryouts, which I didn't do and I should have done. There was many things that I didn't do. I didn't do them because it was complicated. I didn't do them because, if we're being honest, I was probably lazy. I was like, oh, I'll do it next day, I'll do it next week, next year, and then year after year, well, hey, it never fucking happened. Same goes for all my friends. All my friends, especially my close friends, when I was like in, let's say, high school, we all played soccer competitively and seriously. And amongst us all, now maybe not everyone maybe will admit it, but let's say 80% of us at a certain age wanted to be a professional soccer player. And this goes for every single young kid, young male who played a sport. Every male who ever played a sport, to a certain degree of competitiveness, if they were serious about it, they thought for a second to be professional. Now, most people never become professional athletes because it's so fucking hard, but it's simple. In soccer, it's simple. You enter an academy at the age of, let's say, 12. So you play U12 at an academy. You play U15 at an academy. You play U16, U17, U18. And then at the age of 18, 19, if that team, that academy feels like you're good enough to sign a pro contract for their first team, for their professional team, well, hey, they give you a professional contract. Or another team with scouts scout you. They see that you're good enough. They give you a contract. Boom, you're a professional soccer player. It's simple, but it's really fucking hard, man. Just like anything else. Starting a business. You start a business. You figure it out. Whatever. Let's say you want to start a fucking shawarma business. Whatever. You open a shawarma. You do really good work. Really good product. You get repeat customers. You get a good clientele. You open another shawarma. You open another one. Now, of course, I'm simplifying it and I'm putting it in layman's terms so that everyone can understand. But it's simple, but it's really fucking hard. That's why there's a quote in this movie, which is, I forgot the name of the movie. It's with the guy who played in the new movie that Tom Cruise used to play. I forgot the name of the movie, but it's a boxer. It's based on a real life boxer, Vinny Paz. That is the name of the real life boxer who used to box. And at the end of the movie, a reporter asks Vinny Paz, which was played by, what's the name of that fucking actor, man? I forgot his name, but who is played by a famous actor. Like, if I was to pull up his name, Miles Teller. That's his name. Vinny Paz was played by Miles Teller in a boxing movie regarding Vinny Paz's life story. And at the end of that movie, the journalist asks Vinny Paz, who is played by Vinny, what did I just say now? Vinny Paz, who is played by, how did I just fucking forget his name? Whatever. She asks him a question. What is the biggest lie you've ever been told? And he responds, it's not that simple. And then she replies, what do you mean? And he says, no, that was the biggest lie I was ever told. It's not that simple. And he says, people tell you this to try to push you away from your dreams, try to make you quit, when it is that simple. But it's not easy. It's really fucking hard, but it's simple. So that's why I feel like the quote, like I said in the beginning of the episode, just do it. As simple as it is, as benign as it may sound, it sounds like a fucking 5-year-old could have written it, but it's so powerful. And the reason why I feel like it became so popular and that Nike took it as their catchphrase and why it became so popular around the world. If you go and ask anyone and everyone knows about the catchphrase, just do it. And I feel like that is the reason why it became so popular, because it's so simple. Everyone can understand the message and everyone can have their own interpretation of that message. And that was my interpretation of that message. You need to mog. And this is something else that I used to see a lot on social media. People do a lot of clips about it, but it's so fucking true. The point of life, now I'll use popular social media terms nowadays. The point of life is to mog yourself every single day, every single year. Your goal in life is to mog the person you were last year. Mog, it means to become better, to be better than the person you were last year. And that is a fucking fact. It's the point of life isn't to become better than someone else, isn't to mog someone else, but it is to mog who you were before. That is the entire point of life. That's why when I see a lot of these clips, people use it to joke around, to have fun, but it's so fucking true. Every single day, your goal should be when you wake up, how can I mog the person I was yesterday? And not the person, or not who someone else is, who my friend is, who my brother is, who my dad is, who my uncle is, who my cousin, who my best friend, who my friend group, who my colleagues, whatever. But who I was yesterday, how can I mog that person today? And you do that day after day, week after week, month after month, and even year after year, and even decade after decade. Because if I'm being honest, that should be your goal every single fucking day until you fucking die. To become better than the person you were yesterday. And that's what will make your life exciting. That is what will make you, that is what will put you on the right path. That is something that will give meaning to your life, and where every single morning when you will wake up, you'll have excitement and you will have joy. So many people, I feel like so many people with age, they lose this excitement and this joy when they wake up. This, when you were younger and you were like 8 or 9 years old, and you knew the following morning we're going on a field trip with our school. There's no school tomorrow. All of my friends are going together on a yellow school bus. We're going to a lake to have fun. Do you know how fucking excited you were the following night, you couldn't sleep and you couldn't wait to wake up. And when you would wake up, you would run right to the washroom, brush your teeth, wash your face, put on some clothes, and you'd be right out the door, and you couldn't wait to start the day off. That is how it should be, not only when you're 8 or 9 years old, but even when you're 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, until you die. That is how your life should be. And one way to bring you closer to having that lifestyle or that mindset is having the mentality of, I want to become better than the person I was yesterday. Keep in mind that all your dreams are possible. They're possible to achieve. Give yourself the possibility and the chance to accomplish all of your dreams. Every single day, look to mog the person you were yesterday or the week before or the year before. And every single day, you're going to wake up with purpose, with drive, and with hunger. And that means that every single day you'll wake up fucking hungry, happy, and excited about life. And you do that every single day. And then there's no way you ever become depressed. There's no way you will have anxiety, but some levels of anxiety are actually good for you. But you'll never have unhealthy levels of anxiety. And you'll always have peace of mind because you know deep down, every single day you're doing your best and you're slowly but surely, day after day, mogging the past you. And that is, in my opinion, one of the best mentalities to have and to adopt. Like I said, and one reason why I feel like so many people compete with others or compare themselves with others, which, if we're being honest and logical about it, it makes no sense to compare yourself with others because we're all different. We're all genetically coded differently. We're all wired differently, and we all have different skill sets, and we all have a different background, and we all have different parents. Some have rich parents, some have poor parents, some are smart, some are dumb, some are athletic, some aren't. The list goes on, right? So there's no point that you should compete either with your peers. There's no point for you to compete with your colleagues, with your brothers, sisters, parents, cousins, whatever, because we're all different. And by all of us being different, how can you compare it with someone else, right? Something that I've learned, this is another example I can give you, right? Let's say in car sales, I have a client come in and then he says, you know what, I sell Ford, right? So let's say he comes and sees me and he says, I want an F-150, a truck, and I want to compare it with a Tundra. Now I'll easily tell him, this is something we all do, I'll say, you know what, we cannot compare apples with bananas because an F-150 and a Tundra, it's different. A Tundra will be more expensive. A Ford will be a better truck in general. That's why, in general, all the trucks, the most sold trucks in North America are the F-Series. But you cannot compare, you have to compare apples with apples, even when it comes to cars, right? So whenever I have, let's say, a client who went to another Ford dealership and he comes to our Ford dealership because he wants to see who will have a better price, I always ask him, give me exactly the vehicle they quoted you over there. Because if I don't have exactly the same vehicle, my vehicle will maybe be $2,000 more expensive because we have more add-ons. But then when we come to pricing, at the end of the day, of course, I'll be more expensive because my car has, let's say, heated seats and his car doesn't. And because I have heated seats, well, my car costs $2,000 more. And I just tell him fairly, I'm like, I want to compare apples with apples so it's fair. Same goes with life. But the thing is with life, there's no two same apples. We're all literally fucking different. We're all different. My brother, DNA-wise speaking, he is the person on planet Earth that is the closest to me DNA-wise. And even then, we're so fucking different in all senses. We're so different because every single human being is unique. Your genetic code has never existed before in the past, will never exist in the future, and doesn't exist today, presently, except for yourself. So like I said, you cannot compare yourself with anyone else. Your ego will push you to compare yourself with your peers, with people around you, because we have this innate sense, this innate ego where we want to be, quote unquote, above other people, either by money, social status, or by whatever else that we can, in a way, measure ourselves against our peers, and in a way, feed our egos by making it believe that we are better than someone else in a certain field or a certain domain. That is your ego that is pushing you. And whatever thoughts, whatever motivations that come from your ego, whenever it comes from your ego, already there you know you're losing. Already there you know you're losing. So that is why you should never ever compare yourself with others. Even when some cases from the outside it may seem even let's say again football, right? I did it many times. I compared Messi with Ronaldo. So let's say even from the outside, everyone does it, right? Everyone who is a football fan for the past decade, the biggest comparison and the biggest debate has always been Ronaldo or Messi. And even then, right, we can say fairly, Messi, when it comes to playing football, is way, way above Cristiano Ronaldo. But Ronaldo, I mean, just because Messi is a better football player than Ronaldo, doesn't necessarily mean that Messi has won against Ronaldo in the comparisons between those two. Because let's say, okay, Messi maybe is a better football player, or maybe Ronaldo is better at something else than Messi, right? So then Ronaldo maybe won there. But then maybe Messi's a better father. And I'm just speaking like that. I don't fucking know. Maybe he's a better father. Maybe Ronaldo's a better businessman. Well, maybe Messi's better at this. Maybe he's better at that. So at the end of the day, even when it comes comparing between those two humans, we can compare them, especially certainly when it comes to football, right? You see who's better. But at the end of the day, who won? Because yes, maybe Messi's better at playing football, but maybe Ronaldo's a better businessman. Maybe he has closer friends, or maybe Messi's a better father. Who knows? That's why even when we tend and when we wish to compare between those two, there's no reason, because at the end of the day, you cannot compare them, because you have to, for it to be fair, for comparisons to be fair, you have to compare apples with apples. And you can never do it with human beings. The only attitudes you need to adopt to become the version of yourself is, and then in order for you to become the best version of yourself, there are certain attitudes you have to adopt. And from what I saw, from my experience, and from looking at other people, and from analyzing other success stories and just other social media accounts, the best attitudes to adopt are discipline and being unstoppable. Discipline truly brings freedom. Discipline is king. Discipline makes kings out of fucking peasants, man. And one thing that I really love about discipline is, just like courage, it's something that you cannot buy. It's something that maybe some people are born with it more than others, but at the end of the day, anyone can go from zero disciplined to highly, highly disciplined. It's only a shape of mentality, a shift of mentality that you have to do. It's not like someone's born short, he's born tall. Well, the guy who's born short, fuck it, there's nothing you can do about it. It's not like that. This is literally something that anyone and everyone can acquire at any given time. Discipline. And discipline makes kings out of peasants. And the most beautiful part about discipline, yes, it's really fucking hard to have, and it's really fucking hard to maintain. But the most beautiful part about it is discipline will always wait for you and will always present yourself with the opportunity for you to adopt discipline. It will always be there. You can wake up any morning of your life and choose to be disciplined and completely turn your life around, change your life. Discipline is always there. Some people can be born with the richest parents, with the most powerful parents, be born with the best circumstances, but if they don't have discipline, the person who is born out of pure misery, out of pure poverty, no skills, no talents, whatever, but if he or she decides to adopt discipline and to be highly, highly disciplined, to be one of the most, to be amongst the most disciplined individuals on planet Earth, that person will become a king. Even if this person has a better head start, rich parents, more education, more intelligence, more talent, whatever. If he or she doesn't have discipline, you can take all of that and throw it out the window. And the person who has discipline, he or she will become a king in his or her chosen field. That is what will happen. And like I said, discipline, you can, just like David Goggins, right? He used to be fat, lazy, overweight, didn't accomplish anything. And just one morning, he literally said, you know what? I'm sick and fucking tired of having this life. He completely turned his life around, became fucking shredded, became a millionaire, accomplished so many things, became one of the most highly decorated Navy SEALs of all time, wrote many books, did many interviews, many podcasts. He did many conferences, became a multimillionaire just because he simply said, enough is enough. I'm going to become disciplined and I'll become unstoppable. I'll never stop being disciplined. I'll be disciplined day in, day after day after day. I'll never stop. And he went from the worst circumstances to becoming a fucking king, to becoming a highly, highly successful and accomplished individual. That is what discipline does. And also another beauty about discipline is no one can prevent you from having it and no one can take it away from you. That is also another thing that is so beautiful. Just like I said, you cannot buy it. Even if you have rich parents, even if you're born in a rich country, whatever, if you don't have the mentality of having discipline, no one can help you. Only you can help yourself to have discipline. And once you have discipline, no one, literally no one can take that away from you. Not no President Donald Trump, the most powerful man on planet Earth, not your parents, not your girlfriend, not your peers, not your haters, no one. Literally no one can take away from you discipline. If you have discipline, no one can take that away from you. And that is another thing that is so beautiful. As difficult and as hard and as painful as discipline may be, there's also the equivalent of its hardships, the equivalent of its beauty is the same level. As hard and as disgusting as it may be, it can also be as beautiful and as rewarding and as precious as it can be. As the levels, the extremes are the same. As ugly as I can be, as hard as it can be, same goes for as beautiful and as rewarding as it can be. The harder something is, the more rewarding and the more beautiful that it is. And that is what discipline is. That's why discipline is the best thing on planet Earth for you to become the best version of yourself. Life is maybe unfair. We've all heard about it. Life is unfair. Life isn't fair. There's this, there's that, there's him, there's her. Life isn't fair. But when it comes to having discipline, discipline is fair. Discipline is fair. Discipline doesn't discriminate. Discipline doesn't judge you. Discipline doesn't care who your parents are. Discipline doesn't care what your background is. Discipline doesn't care where you're from. Doesn't care what your skin color is, what your sexual orientation is, what your thoughts are, what your political affiliations are, what your levels of beauty are, how tall you are, what your talents are, what your skills are, what your knowledge is, what your intelligence is. Discipline only cares about you showing up every single day and never giving up. That's the only thing that discipline cares about. And that is the only thing that discipline requires of you in order to crown you as a king in the field that you choose. That is the only thing that discipline will ask from you. Discipline won't ask you anything else, but can you show up every single day, year after year, and never give up and be unstoppable? Can you be disciplined for the rest of your life? If the answer is yes, I will crown you with all the gifts beyond your wildest imaginations. I will bless you with all the gifts, and I will bless you with all of your dreams that beyond your wildest dreams. You will accomplish everything you want to accomplish if you give me your actions and you give me your work ethic day in, day out, and you never give up and you stay disciplined. And I will reward you with everything you want. That is the only thing that discipline cares about. And that is another reason why discipline is always, always there for you. And is the most, as much as it can be the ugliest thing on planet Earth, the hardest thing on planet Earth, the most sacrificing thing on planet Earth, and the hardest thing on planet Earth is to being disciplined. It's also the reason why it's the most beautiful thing on planet Earth and why it's the reason why it brings you the most out of your life. You always have the option to wake up the following morning and choose discipline. You always, always have that option. No matter what your age is, no matter what happened in the past, no matter who you are currently, every single day you have the option to wake up and be disciplined. Every single day you have that fucking option. Every single day that option presents itself to you. Every single day. The price of discipline. This is a quote that I really love, and I'll read it out to you guys. The price of discipline is a routine that feels repetitive and boring. Every day can look identical, same early wake up, same work blocks, and same quiet effort. However, the cost of a lack of discipline is far worse. Every year looks the same, leaving you stuck in the exact same place. That is discipline. With discipline, every single day looks the same, which can become really mundane and really boring and really mentally and physically exhausting because every single day is the same, but every single year is completely different. But when you don't have discipline, every day is different, right? I don't have discipline. So, this day I won't go to work. I'll go to a bar. I'll get drunk. The following morning, I'll go in an arcade, play video games. Every single day can be different when you don't have discipline, and it can be short-term fun. But the curse with not having discipline is every single year you're in the same position, if not worse. But you can never be in a better position year after year. And that is a quote that I really, really love. And it gives you a clear perspective on why and how you should remain disciplined, even when sometimes you don't feel motivated and you don't feel like going on. When you keep reminding yourself, maybe every single day looks the same, but if I look at it year after year, it's not the fucking same. And that is what will give you that extra push and that extra, let's say, motivation to keep going and keep staying disciplined. It doesn't have to make sense to other people in order for you to prosper in it and become successful in it. Whenever someone had a crazy dream, whenever someone accomplished a crazy dream, in the beginning, it didn't make sense to anyone else. And that's normal, and there's nothing wrong there, because if you have a dream, if to you that dream makes sense, if you can envision it, you can achieve it. And it only has to make sense to you for it to be logical. It doesn't have to make sense to anyone else. It doesn't have to make sense to your parents, your peers, your friends, your colleagues, your entourage. If it makes sense to you and you believe in it and you can envision it and you can imagine it, then you can achieve it. So that's why sometimes it is good to ask constructive criticism from other people, but you shouldn't put all of your energy and all of your worth in other people's criticism of something that you're trying to do, especially when it's something that you feel like it's right to do. That's why trusting your gut, following your intuition is also really important, right? Of course, there is logical thinking, rational thinking, which is really, really important. Taking risks, especially calculated risks with logical and rational thinking behind it. Of course, that's always really fucking important. But sometimes there's a certain time in your life on your pursuit of happiness where nothing makes sense anymore. There's no logical reasoning behind it, but your gut, your intuition is telling you to keep going and still keep going on that path, because your intuition and your gut truly knows what's best for you. So it doesn't have to make sense to anyone else but you. And if it makes you happy, well, then you're winning. And if it makes sense to you, stay on that path. There's a reason why it makes sense to you. There's a reason why God planted that seed of thought in your brain. It's because God planted that dream for you, because God knows that dream is possible for you. So that's why maybe it won't make sense to other people, but if it makes sense to you, that's the only thing that should matter. Find what you like to do and do it. There's money to be made in every single field. If you like doing something, it can be as simple as, you know what, I like gardening and I like taking care of lawns. If that's your passion, well, there's money to be made there too. You can start a business and then you open another one, and then you prosper, you become better and better, you have more customers, more clients, and then boom, you become a millionaire. So whatever you like to do, whatever you're passionate about, there's always money to be made. So you should never stress about, fuck, I'm really passionate about, let's say, painting, but maybe I won't make money, maybe this. There is a possibility to make a lot of money in whatever field or whatever domain. Like I said, as simple as something as cleaning snow, shoveling snow. Well, you can start off by shoveling snow with your snow shovel from house to house, make $100 every single day. and then you get a tractor or a machine, whatever the fucking machine is called. Then you get a couple of more of those machines. You get employees. You do more houses. You get more money. You open one business here. You open another one in a different city. You operate in different cities. You cover more ground. By you covering more ground, you get more clients, more customers. And by you getting more clients, more customers, more business, you get more money. So there's always money to be made. So that's why it's important to do something you love to do. Like I say so many times to all my friends, you only have one fucking life. So you might as well fucking live your life exactly how you want to live it. And don't stress too much about money, because whatever you love to do it. Do so much volume, do so much repetition that you become really competent at that field. And by you becoming really and highly competent at that field, well, then you'll become more confident and you'll become better, and money will naturally flow your way because you're highly competent in that thing. It's as simple as that. So that's why it's really important to find something you really love, you're really passionate about, something that when you wake up every single morning, you're excited to go out in the world and do that certain thing. Once you found it, don't worry too much about money, because once you do it so many times, you do so much volume, you do so much repetition, you become better and better, your business becomes better and better, it keeps evolving, well, the money will follow it and you won't have any financial problems. And talking about becoming competent in a certain thing, the only way you can become competent in a certain field is, of course, there is talent, but the only thing that is in your power is your willpower. So the only thing that you can do that is in your power in order for you to become more competent in a certain field or a certain business is by doing a lot of volume and doing a lot of repetition. You'll become better and better. Just like going to the gym, right? The reason why some people can do 20 pull-ups and other people can only do 2 pull-ups is because the guy who can do 20 pull-ups, he did way more volume of pull-ups than the other person. That is the only reason why that person does more pull-ups. Of course, there's also genetics. Some people are more gifted muscular-wise, are more genetically gifted than other people. But at the end of the day, the main reason why that person does way more pull-ups than that other person is because that person did way more volume and way more repetitions when it comes to doing pull-ups or anything else, right? So it's all about volume and repetition, doing it day in, day after day. You'll become better and better. There's this one quote from Gary Vee that I really fucking like. And he said, "You want to fucking win in life? Fall in love with losing." Because most people are scared of it. And I understand. No one likes losing. No one likes getting rejected. And no one likes losing. Of course, we're all fucking human beings. It's not like someone loves losing. It's not like someone loves getting rejected. Believe me, whenever someone gets rejected, he's not like, "Oh, fuck, yes, I got rejected, man. I fucking love that shit." No one has that fucking mentality. We're all human beings. We're all the same when it comes to that certain aspect of life. We all want to be accepted and we all want to be loved by people. That's a normal human trait to have. Some people more than others, but in general, no one loves getting rejected and no one loves losing. You never saw a professional football team or an athlete be like, "Yes, I've lost." Yes, you learn a lot from it. That is where you grow the most. But at the end of the day, no one loves losing. But the only way for you to grow and the only way for you to get closer and closer to your dream is by losing, because that is when you learn, is by getting rejected, because that is when you become more resilient, and also that is where you learn even more. That is the only way you can, at the end of the day, reach your goal, is by becoming better and better. And in order for you to reach that big dream that you have, well, life has to prepare you for everything that big dream consists and demands of you to have and to be. And the only way that you can become ready for that position in life is by life breaking you and then you remaking yourself, becoming stronger and stronger. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. In that sense is true. That is the only way. So life, in a way, has to break you to make you, to prepare you, and to make you ready in order for you to become in the position that you wish to be and that you dream to be in. That is the only way. So that's why you want to fucking win in life. If you want to win, you have to fall in love with losing, because that is the only way you can grow. And if you cannot take L's and keep going, if you cannot take rejection and keep going, well, then you'll never accomplish all of your dreams. And if you cannot adopt that mentality, if you give up after one loss, if you give up after a failure, if you give up after a rejection, you'll never make it. That's why you have to keep going, and might as well fucking fall in love with losing and rejection, because there's going to be so much of it. The faster and the quicker you start not caring about it, the faster and quicker you'll achieve all of your goals, because the faster and quicker you will wish to fail and to take L's and to get rejection, because you know that the more you fail and the more rejections you face, the closer you get to your dreams. And the less you take it personally when you fail or when you get rejected, the less you'll care about doing it more, the less you'll care about doing it more times. And just by you doing it more times, the closer you get to your dreams. In life, you have to find what works best for you, because we're all different and we do everything differently. We're all wired differently. We all think differently. We all walk differently. We all shit differently. We all eat differently. We all fuck differently. We all think differently. We all speak differently. We all do everything differently. So that's why you cannot look at someone else and say, oh, that works for him, so it's going to work for me. It can't be the case for certain aspects, but in general, you have to find what works best for you. And the best way to find what works best for you is to do it. And then by doing it, you adjust, and you adjust to how you feel works best for you. But that is the most important in life, is doing what works best for you. Now, let me end this episode with a final quote, which is probably one of my favorite quotes of all fucking time. And it's from the philosopher Seneca. And he says, the final test of freedom is this: can you remain the same person in praise, in insult, in gain, and in loss? If you're someone that no matter what happens in your life, no matter who insults you, no matter who praises you, no matter what you gain out of life, and no matter what you lose out of life, if you can always remain the same person inside, remain the same person with the same level of confidence, you know who you are, you don't need outside approval for you to justify to yourself who you are. If you can remain the same person through loss, through gain, through failure, through praise, and through insult, if you can remain the same person, you've achieved ultimate freedom. Because no matter what happens with outside circumstances, with things you cannot control if someone's going to love you and someone's going to hate you. You cannot control if someone's going to insult you or if someone's going to praise you. Sometimes you cannot control what you will gain out of life, and sometimes you cannot control what you will lose in life. But if you can always remain the same person, no matter what happens from things you cannot control, well, then you've achieved the ultimate freedom. There's nothing that can faze you. And you know the only things that matter are the things that you can control, that are in your control, and it is your willpower. The only things you truly control is your willpower, nothing else. Guys, that was it for this episode. Peace out.